The highlighter pen was invented in the 1960s, simply to get our attention. When text is shaded with vivid inks, in hot pinks or warm yellows, our eye is drawn directly to it. People in marketing have always known that colour has impact, and it's a principle highlighted by these pens. When it comes to highlighter pens, drab colours are a write-off. A vacuum siphons plastic pellets into this container. The red ones will tint the whole mix as it melts inside a heating tube. A mechanised steel screw pushes the melted plastic into pen moulds. The force applied is equal to the weight of 350 elephants. Cooled by water, the newly moulded pen barrels spill into a container below. Now, some clear-coloured pen barrels drop onto a conveyor. Ink reservoirs made of polyester drop down a shaft, and a robotic arm thrusts them into the plastic barrels. The back-end plug goes in the same way. The plug falls to a robotic arm, and it pushes them into the back of the pen. A concentrate of dye is dropped into a beaker of water. Just 10 grams or drops is enough to turn it red. A humectant already in the water will keep the ink from drying out when it's in the pen. Next, the ink's thickness is measured. A steel probe is lowered into it, and the probe turns. A gauge measures the speed. If the probe turns too fast, it means the ink is too thin. If it revolves too slowly, then the mix is too thick. At 4 revolutions per minute, the ink is just the right consistency. A vacuum pump sucks the ink into 6-inch steel needles. And a robotic arm pushes the needles into the polyester reservoirs, injecting them with ink. A combination of mechanical vibrations and compressed air drive a conveyor belt carrying the pen nibs. The nibs fall into the clutch of a mechanical claw, which drops them to a circular pusher. It shoves the nibs onto the pens and they interlock. The impact draws the ink up from the reservoir. A conveyor transports caps to a mechanical gripper, and the gripper slides them over the nibs. Over on another assembly line, they're making a 3-in-1 marker. A conveyor bowl funnels smaller ink reservoirs into a shaft, and they drop to a robotic arm. The arm stuffs the reservoirs into the smaller barrels. And then a needle injects them with ink, quickly saturating the reservoirs with vibrant colour. The next robotic arm shoves a receptacle onto the barrel, and then another robot presses a polyester nib onto it. A robot now slips a hood-like cap over the nib. Another mechanical arm sucks up these fuchsia-coloured mini markers and transfers them to a triangular case. Down the line, another suction arm picks up a red mini marker and deposits it in the triangle. A steel probe presses it in. Finally, a yellow-coloured marker completes the triangle. Now, a robot uses an electrical charge to pick up metallic confetti. When the charge is turned off, the confetti drops into the triangle, adding some glitter. A suctioning robot drops the top part of the triangle onto the lower case, and a metal cylinder presses it shut. The 3-in-1 marker is carried to a conveyor belt, which unloads it into a box. The 3-in-1 highlighter makes it easier to colour-code text, a different colour for each theme. Now, an electrical conveyor moves the highlighters to a mechanical arm. The arm flips it around, positioning it for the next step. A logo is printed on. Now the highlighters enter an ultraviolet light chamber. The light bonds the ink to the case. And finally, the ultimate test. Plastic grippers guide markers as they make circles. 700 to 1,000 circles mean this particular production line will definitely stand out.
slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up